Hey everyone, I'm Kendrick Diaz, and you're listening to Verse by Verse. You ever think about how much of what we do on a regular basis is really just us trying to protect ourselves? Like how we buckle up the moment we get in a car, or how we put on sunscreen. We sometimes memorize long and complicated passwords to protect our personal information. We wear helmets when we ride bikes. We install antivirus software to protect our computers. We build up savings to protect our finances. We do all these things and more, and often without even thinking about it. Why? Not because we're paranoid, but because we recognize that there are real threats out there. Plenty of them. Things that endanger us or others that we just want to avoid. But here's my thing. Of all the things we should protect, there's one we frequently overlook: our minds. So many scriptures, whether directly or indirectly, highlight the importance of protecting the mind. But today let's zoom in on just one. Proverbs 4:23. Listen to what the wisest king of Israel had to say. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Now let me read it to you in the Tanakh translation. Above all that you guard, note that, above all that you guard your mind, for it is the source of life. So nothing wrong with protecting our bodies, nothing wrong with protecting our health or our finances, but the thing the Bible urges us to protect above everything else is our thinking. Why? Because thoughts lead to actions, actions form habits, and habits dictate the course of our lives. The mind is the source of life, which means your thinking doesn't just stay in your mind. It flows out into what you say, what you do, and ultimately who you become. Just like God's people in every age, we've got to be careful, not to let our minds get poisoned by all the junk society keeps serving up. There are movements working overtime to rebrand perversion as nothing more than alternative lifestyles. There are influencers using their platforms to push ideologies that sound right and feel good, but are still inconsistent with God's word. And because of the internet and the flood of devices at our disposal, the stream of what comes out of the world is just a tap or a swipe away. I remember the other day I was scrolling through my feed when the algorithm threw me a highlight reel from some major combat sports event, where two fighters were just abusing each other. No protection at all, bloodied faces, and all the rest of it. And later I asked myself, what would repeated exposure to this kind of thing do to my mind? It's a good question to sit with, because all that we expose ourselves to, the ideas, the images, the messaging that's sometimes subtle and sometimes not so subtle, can seep in and affect the way we think. I'm not saying it happens overnight, but little by little, our beliefs can morph. We can become less alert, less feeling, and start to accept things that aren't godly. It's dangerous. That's why we've got to stay vigilant, intentional about what we allow in our minds. So here's my challenge for all of us. Let's put a guard at the door of our mind. Screen what comes in, challenge anything suspicious, and shut the gate on anything that threatens to take root and corrupt. The goal is straightforward: to protect our minds from being tainted by the world. That means comparing everything we take in with God's word and rejecting what doesn't line up. But there's a second part to this, and it's just as important. When something is good, accept it. See, we're not just turning away from things that are dangerous, we're opening the gate for wisdom and truth and righteousness. Proverbs is full of exactly the kind of things we should be letting in. Teachings that are good. Folks, God cares a lot about the kind of people we become. And if we want the kind of life He intends for us, then we need to remember Proverbs 4:23. Above all that you guard your mind, for it is the source of life.
Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content, like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.